I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, May the 11th, and the pressure is finally overtaking the cash. I thought it would start early this week. I didn't think there'd be any way that we could hold much together, especially on the board, but I didn't figure cash would, as everybody could kind of smell that the end of this big rally was getting close. But now that we've got in here past the middle of the week, it's sure evident that there was just too much pressure there, and as guys were bidding on feeder cattle and working on selling their fat cattle, they just working on that hill and deciding that it was a lot farther down to fall than there was to climb, and it maybe wasn't worth the risk anymore. The board on Wednesday there, live cattle futures, June was down 77, and the rest of them didn't do too much till you got way out front there, and they were higher. But June closed at 124.20, ended up being a $14 basis to what Southern Plains started trading at on a cash basis there through the day on Wednesday. But at 138 in Texas and Kansas, that's $7 to $8 lower. It's not horrible. It's just the guys in the Southern Plains are not as current, not as green. They're not in a position to really kind of push the packers away like the guys in the Northern Plains. You know, they're getting some cattle sold with a limited number of days on them. The cattle are bought a lot cheaper. They don't have a lot in the cattle. The cattle are making good money. That $14 basis for a guy that's fully hedged is like getting over $1.50 for his cattle. He's got to like that. He's making good money. He wants to stay current. He doesn't want to get in a jam. The Northern Plains did not sell a lot of cattle, and they didn't sell any live cattle to speak of. You did see some dress sales, $6 lower dress basis, which is not nearly as bad as $7 to $8 lower live. 224 dressed, and that was in Nebraska and some in Iowa, and some lower, but still a pretty respectable price. And then we can't really get after those guys for that. They're trying to do what's best for them, they think. But box beef cutout values continue higher, now up to a $20 spread between choice and select, as those packers still picking through those cattle, trying to find some cattle of great choice, because they've got to try to fill those contracts that they wrote for meat for these big grilling holidays coming right up this weekend, Mother's Day and then Father's Day and Memorial Day in between. Your slaughter this week so far is running 10,000 more than last week and last year both. Your feeder cattle auctions, finally, we saw that big down that I figured we'd see on Monday, but we didn't. OKC West and El Reno selling a lot of their feeder cattle $5 to $10 lower on the early call. Winter in Dodge City, Kansas, their feeder steers running $8 to $10 lower, and that's a big hunk off, but we've just been climbing in these big hunks for the past several weeks, just week after week, and finally enough's enough. These guys just can't keep paying those big prices because they're really unsure of what's going to happen between now and going into fall. But you see some the guys in the Flint Hills, the Osage, the guys that got a lot of cattle turned out, yearling cattle. That August board on your feeder cattle is down 322 on Wednesday. Your current May wasn't down too much, just 2 cents, but you're going into your late summer, fall was down hard. That August feeder cattle board is now at 148.92. It was over 160 just a few days ago, basically. The guys that were thinking they were going to get those huge prices for their yearling steers coming off grass, it's just vanished right in front of their eyes. About the only big string I've seen was on Joplin Video. Last Friday they sold a big string over 1,100 head to weigh 9, coming off in August at 147.60. I really doubt you could get close to that right now, but as more and more of those start to sell, it'll establish a price, and we'll see all those dominoes fall here before too awful long. But individual quotes on Wednesday, Albion, Nebraska there on Beef Market Central had a big load of 816 pound steers, 3 o'clock in the afternoon at 148.85. You may not think that's a big deal, but that was by far the highest that I saw. And South Central Regional Stockyards, Vienna, Missouri, they had a good calf sale there. Had 93 head of 511-pound steer calves at 1:30 in the afternoon at $195.75. That's your feeder flash for Thursday.